Hi, I'm Jody Danner Walker, and I'm here at Warm Glass Gallery and Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to mix our paint. The paints we're going to use today to demonstrate are our Sunshine Enamels, and I have tried all kinds of different paints, and these are my absolute favorites by far. I love these paints so much because you get extremely bold colors. They're lead based, so they definitely have a bold pop of color, but you can also add white to them, and that will create a more muted palette for you. The other thing about these is you can mix all the different colors together. So reds can mix with yellows to get oranges. Reds play well with others. It's reds and blues, all the colors. So you can, any color in the rainbow that you can think up, you can mix. The other thing that's really fabulous about these paints is they can be fired at any temperature. So if you're doing attack views, 1240, 1300, you can use these paints, but you can also use these paints. Blowers have reported using them in their final pieces, so they have a real versatility in the firing temperature. One other really good thing about them is they can go on any glass, so there's no compatibility issues that you have to worry about. So you can use them on bullseye glass or oceanside glass or recycled glass. They'll work with any kind of glass that you want them to be. Now comes the fun part, mixing the paint. So the first thing that you'll notice is that our paint isn't already pre-mixed. It comes in a powder form. So when you're mixing with powders, this gives you an opportunity to use it for many different things. You could put A14 in it as a binder. You could put Clearfire as a binder. You could put pine oil, which is like a squeegee oil, in as a binder. I use A14 for all my painting needs because I love it. A14 is a printer's medium, and it cleans up with water, so it's absolutely fabulous. And you don't need to use mineral spirits to clean your you don't need to use any mineral spirits to clean up after yourself. So A14 comes in it's a viscous like liquid, and what we're gonna start to do, we're gonna create a well on our palette. I usually use a glass palette. You can use whatever you want to, and I also use a palette knife to mix my paint with. So this is a palette knife. There's different shapes. There's square edges. There's this kind. I find that this is the kind with the wide edge is great because you're going to see how we mix it. So this is my favorite one. Samantha's, this is her favorite one. So I'm going to use my favorite one. So now I'm going to add the binder to the powdered enamel. This particular color is the blue-green enamel. So I'm going to create a well, and then add my binder to the well. And then I'm going to start mixing in. You can see this is the color it's going to become. That's the color it becomes. So now I'm going to start wetting all the enamel, little pieces of enamel powder. Just so as soon as they're wet, they're not really harmful anymore. You can't put them in your mouth or eat them or anything, but like any paint, you can't do that. But once you've gotten them so they have a little bit of liquid on them, you're ready to go. You can see how beautiful it's already mixing. So now when I go to mix it, I press down, you might not be able to see this, but I'm actually pressing down the granules of powder into the glass. So I'm pressing it together, and as I move back and forth, it's kind of a very slow, kind of a Zen thing. The masters did this. This is how they got ready to start their paintings, and as they were mixing their paints, they were thinking about what they were going to be doing and getting mentally ready to start working on their paintings. So you can see how beautiful that is and how quickly that mixed. And what I'm looking for is so that when I pull the palette knife, you can still see there's a few granules. The light is lighting them up. And you don't have to get rid of every single granule, but you want to get rid of most of them. The other thing we're looking for is consistency for the paint. So like this paint right now, I would call it's pretty wet. You can see it's wet. So I might come in and add a little bit more granules of the powder, just so it thickens it up a little bit. We really want the consistency of honey when we paint with it. We're never going to use water to water it down. We don't want any water mixed with our paint, because then think of it as oil and vinegar and water. They separate. So you don't want to like rinse your paintbrush and then drag it back into the paint. Make sure your paintbrush is wiped off and there's not a lot of extra added water. So now you can see it's a thicker consistency. Can you guys see that out there? Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. I just love it. See, now that's the kind of consistency. We want more of a honey consistency like this. And so that's what we're going to use to mix the paint. You can see it's just beautiful. Okay, so now we have our yummylicious paint already mixed and ready to paint with. But now keep in mind, the beautiful thing about these paints is you can use them for multiple things. You can use them as an oil paint, as a watercolor paint, as an airbrushing, screen printing, monoprint. They're very versatile paints, which makes them fabulous to use. So happy painting. All right, so now you've painted your painting and you have leftover paint. What do I do with that? Well, you can save your paint. Don't throw it away, just save it. So you can take a jar, as you can see I've already started with this one, and just drag your palette knife and put it in the jar, put your lid on it, and then you've got your paint for the next time. You can reconstitute the paint. So that's what you're going to do with any leftover paint that you've got. Okay, now for more information on how to mix the paint or for how to use your mixed paints, check out my book, Printmaking Techniques on Glass, or check out my PDF on mixing the paint in the links below. And thanks for watching. Have fun painting.
Please like